In this episode, we work on finishing up the Dodger, installing the polycarbonate windows, and the final coats of paint, both topside and non-skid paint on the Dodger. We have a flush deck sailboat, so it looks a little different compared to the standard conventional sailboat with a cabin trunk. So instead of like from the bow coming off and then stepping up, it just kind of goes a continuation of that line all the way across. So the height needs to be decently tall to actually get in, because normally the cabin trunk gives you some elevation to get in, and then that gives you your sidewalls of your Dodger are normally hooked to the side of the cabin trunk. So we don't have that. We do have a, probably what you consider combing that goes around the front of the companionway hatch to help shed water off as spray and stuff comes over the deck. So we designed this to follow that curve. So the goal is that once it's done, it kind of looks like it was built or belongs on the boat. Our first boat had an actual, I think it was a powerboat windshield on it that someone put on. And not having to look through stratoglass was really nice. The visibility was great. And so we did like that. And then the one part of it had like a canvas top on it. And the canvas was old, it was probably 10 years old, maybe older, and so it leaked. And so we had to waterproof it probably twice a year to actually keep it waterproof. Otherwise, when it was raining, it would drip through, which was a little bit annoying. It wasn't the biggest deal, it kept most of it out. Also, it gives us a nice, this has I think it's an 1.25 inch whip at the back, and that provides a nice handhold grab edge. It also prevents water from running aft into the cockpit. And our companionway leaks a little bit. Part of it is the boat's old and some of the stuff has developed some, I don't know if it's cracks or rot or just from holes that have been drilled into the cabin top a little bit. The other thing is our boom is fairly tall above the deck. It probably swings up 4.5 foot above the deck, and so this will allow us to be, this is strong enough to stand on, and so we'll be able to stand on it if we need to access the sail or get on top of the boom for any reason. This is going to take someone falling into it and maybe a wave or two, but most of that should be shed by the time it comes back. Yes, I'm an engineer and I could have done all the math, but it didn't sound like fun, so I didn't. So this is actually a really light gray color. We mixed just white total boat paint with some gray at a 25-to-1 ratio because we wanted to minimize heat buildup, and then we're also going to use kiwi drip. I think we're going to mix that with at a 1-to-1 ratio, which would be, I believe, almost the same color. As we just used a gray kiwi grip, and we kind of felt it was too warm on our last boat, from a sun perspective, it got hot. So I just got one coat of epoxy barrier coat, which is a primer, on. And so it's, I don't know, I've never liked painting with primer. And half covers, it always feels like. But I didn't get everything, I ran out. I should have mixed a little bit more. So you can see I didn't get the top. But I think it will be alright. There we go, there's the autofocus, or auto brightness. So, looks a lot better. A little bit better than I thought it was going to do. I thought it was going to look really crappy, but it's passable, I think. So, according to Total Boat, which is all the products that I'm using, the fairing compound, you can put the wet edge paint on top of it. They don't recommend it, but you can. But because on the top I'm going to do non-skid, that's going to go right on top of that, so the primer then seals it and creates a good bonding surface. So
hey. I heard you were just being lazy and hanging out at Mom's house all day today.
Oh yeah, being lazy here. Yep. Uh-huh.
If you're painting it, does that mean that it's almost done?
It's getting close.
Okay.
As I'm painting, I'm finding some other spots that need to be touched up, so I'll have to go back through and touch them up. But yeah, you can see there's some spots that I messed up and some low spots on them. So, I mean, overall, it's pretty good, but like, I don't know if I'll even pick some of this up. It's, and so part of it is I think Heather's coming over tonight, so then this will give her a chance to look at it with it painted, or somewhat painted, I guess, and then she can tell me how much lighter she wants the color or not. So.
Good idea. She's got the artistic eye too. I mean, you have an artistic eye, but she also does. So.
Yeah, and she's opinionated. I don't know if you knew that, but she has opinions. I'm guessing you already knew that, though.
I did not.
Yeah.
But she has to be married to you so that she can hold her own.
That is also very true. Alright, so I just finished installing the glass. So I painted the outside edge black, and then I used Dow 795 to adhere it, and then there are bolts holding it as well. I think it looks really nice. So as part of putting the Dodger on, we have to remove this pad eye, the fair lead, and then the track, and then there's a fair lead and a track on the other side. So we just were working on pulling all the bolts out. None of it was tight, which made Heather and I quite concerned. It looks like it was just better with silicone. like a plastic or fiberglass little riser. So I'm going to run a drill bit through each of these holes to open them up and expose new like fiberglass that doesn't have any silicone, so I can put thickened epoxy in it and seal it. Well, he put enough silicone on it that you can't remove the... There we go. Oh, that's a lot of silicone. Just like...
Oh, that's nasty. Ew. Plate there. Not anymore. I did literally a quarter turn and that whole entire little triangle piece went and it cracked in 3 places. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way. Righty tighty, Heather. Look at that, I just fell into 3 pieces.
How many are left?
4.
4?
4.
4.
4. Hi. I'm sure this is everyone else's boat. Working tire. Got sweatpants and my slippers on. Okay. Thing just is all cracked.
Your left hand flexible.
I know, I am lucky you're flexible.
Otherwise, you would have those fun jobs.
I know. Alright, so as you can see, we have our Dodger fully installed, and we basically made this little lip along the interior so that we could attach it with bolts so we could take it on and off as needed. We sanded that lip and then we put 3 layers of 1708, got it all wet together, and then we put PVA, kind of looks like a paint, but it's a mold release that goes on the Dodger itself. Set it down on there and then folded that up so that it would have an exact match. Once it was cured, then basically we just kind of sanded everything as we needed to. We did a little bit of filling kind of in here. You can see how we just kind of put some thickened epoxy in along that area, and then sanded it all smooth-ish, painted it, and put the bolts through.
Alright, so the Dodger is now fully installed on our boat. This is probably 4 weeks after it's been installed. We've already gone to Traverse City and back through a few rainstorms. It does shed most of the water unless the rain's coming from behind. If there's spray coming over, it blocks it. It seems to kind of just blend into the boat and how it looks. I've had a few people ask if we bought it and just installed it. I think it'll look better once we put a bimini on or a solar arch, but at the moment it does look nice.
probably a couple of things I would have done differently if I had an extra week or taken a little more time to fix, but for the time allotted, it turned out really nice.